keep it actual. Let's keep it factual. But most of all, let's keep it pushing. Keep it pushing, people. Some rice, some shrimp, some lunch. Oh boy. Shrimp is amazing. The shrimp is so good. Happy Halloween. Ivy, what's up? Sandy Beach? Oh, welcome. It's been a minute. Yes, for the Mod Squad Daytime Live. Just want to remind everybody that everything said here in this live is strictly my opinion and the opinion of others when commenting. But good morning, Brenda. Everybody knows that, thanks for hitting that thumbs up, appreciate it. Gotta give people a chance to get in chat, love. I swear your brother just parked over there. What was he looking for? All right. Let's see. Hello, New Orleans lady. Callie, what's up? What's good in the hood? Hey there, Frankie Frank. What's shaking? You're gonna come on live.
I'm gonna come on live. Oh,
Here, wait. You want to sit on that side?
Yeah, that's fine.
There you go. That protects your identity.
I don't care.
I don't care.
My identity is what it is. What you eat?
There you go. Callie says, I think the harassment of both the parents and sister is ridiculous and wrong. Amen. I would agree. Let's talk though about brother-sister relationships. How close are you with your sister?
I can't stand her.
That, you know.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, when's the last time before the camping trip would Brian and his sister, when do they normally hang out? How often do they hang out? I think when people want to think about like, oh, what do you mean you wouldn't tell your sister or brother this? Yeah, what's their age gap? What's this? I mean, you just have to look at everything to do with the dynamics of their relationship. But I mean, Brian had been gone for how many months just alone on that trip, on that van trip. Then they were in New York because that's where they took off from. So how long were they in New York for? You know, nobody knows that. But what type of relationship did they have? And I think that's going to be the answer to what would be said or not said at a camping trip. Here to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for tuning in. Well, first of all, my thoughts immediately are, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't talk to him. Because you're going to have the press saying that you're a murderer too and that you're helping your brother get away with murder, And then when you do speak, then somebody like me or all of you guys dissect it. And so that's what I'm saying, like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I don't think it's unheard of, though, for her to not know anything. I don't think that... I think that if she knew that they broke up, if it's a sore subject, then why would you talk about it? I listened to Fox News. I know, my God, what was I thinking? When was it? So last night I wanted to catch something, and it had said, they were referring that Brian is Gabby's ex-boyfriend, something that I thought was interesting. So now they're referring to Brian as Gabby's ex. Is that what you guys have heard? But Fox definitely did that in their report last night that I watched.
What's that?
Brenda says that she completely believes Cassie. I don't think there's any reason. I mean, I think that she's brave. She walked her happy ass out on that lawn and took to the media. I mean,
They worked my ass last night.
did they? I knew I smelled something. Can I get another one of these glasses for my water?
For your water?
Yeah, so I can double bag it here with my camera, set it up like this. Double bag it.
Just set it up on this.
Okay. Because I was trying to use that, but that wasn't working. Thank you.
You have your water. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have with your rice?
These other channels just spit drama. That's their purpose. Well, these other channels 100% spit drama. And I've caught them in lies. I mean, I made it known last night that Natasha Cooper said that Brian was caught by the police and then let go on September 10th because, you know, there was no arrest for him. What? Come again? Did she really say that? Yes, she did. Cheers. What do you have, in a hurricane? Rock you like a hurricane. Patty, what's up? Did her spirit box tell her that? Probably. Well, coming home without her kind of eliminated him for boyfriend of the year award, in my opinion. Not if you broke up. I mean, have you broke up?
If you wanted to each, that would be like 10.
Hey, I'm gonna take the van back because you don't like to drive it, so I'm taking the van back. It was also but why did you leave? It is confirmed. Cassie said it as well that Brian did fly home during the mix of their little August trip, or during August rather, because the trip started in July. But yeah, he did fly home and then he flew back. Why'd he fly home and why'd he fly back? And my guess would be to drive the van back. Oh, what's up? You at work? Steven Scott, hello, new sub since very end of last night. Glad to catch a stream. I was hating watching Natasha, and she introduced me to you. Ha ha ha. Hope your day is awesome. Well, thank you, Steven Scott. You know, Natasha's good for something, huh? God, I hope you're not buffering. That'd be bad. So I don't think coming home without her is the end all be all. I think that I think he already came home once without her, so we have to remember that. He left in a plane without her, and he went back. So why did he leave and why did he go back? That's very important in this case. I mean, need some of that asparagus. If she'd been FaceTime with Gabby, would that make her aware of things? I mean, it just depends on how they were with their relationship. Did they hide things? Were they openly, telling people that they were constantly nitpicking at each other and would fight?
This week is burger.
I mean, I see them as being button pushers. I think they know the buttons to push to get the other one a little, peeved. They come across to me as that they would know how to push each other's buttons. Most people in a relationship know how to do that. But I think it's kudos to the sister because regardless, like I said, she's gonna be damned if she do, damn if she doesn't type of situation. And so she was just, I think, true to herself. And she probably said to herself, well, I have nothing to hide, so I'm just gonna, and that's what everybody always says, I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to hide. It's not about what you have to hide, it's just about what the media wants to do to you. Do they want to crucify you? Do they not want to crucify you? And who's the louder channel to do the crucifying? Brenda, yeah, that's how I found you, Lana. Oh, look at, well, thank you, Brenda, Steven. Glad you guys are finding the light over here. Try to keep it logical, factual, Frankish. Here, let me sip yours. Let me see what it tastes like.
It's very good.
Is it a Shannon special? Oh God, that is super sweet. Everyone wanted the sister to talk out, and now they're all judging, putting her down. I know. Like I said, it's sad because you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Oh, Patty, thank you so much. Very kind of you, Patty. I do think the protesting is completely unacceptable. Yeah, I guess you have that right, but how about you go, I don't know, work instead, or go donate your time as a volunteer somewhere and feed the homeless, or I just think there's a lot more productive things you could be doing with your time than standing outside protesting and screaming at a woman that, I mean, wow. But I guess that's just the difference between people on what they, choose to do with their time. Protesting like that is not the same as going and marching for, like, your rights. Like, just two totally different reasons to do that. They need a story to sell to the media. I hope people see what happened now. They sold the story and now it's time to move on. Media runs with their narrative.
Scratch right here.
Scratch?
Up here.
What's your soup of the day?
Oh, sorry. I take it. Oh, my God. Jesus. Thank you. Whew. I was trying to get your attention, but that was driving me crazy.
You couldn't get your spot?
No, I couldn't get it.
I saw that Radar Online had something. Brian's parents are not talking to their daughter during this manhunt. Once again, who knows if it's true. Then they wanted to say, like, Brian Laundrie's angry sister, Cassie, says she would turn him in if she could. Urges parents to come clean in shocking new interview. I mean, we all can use our own brains, but I don't think that's the message I got from it, but These folks really think their protesting worked. I know. They do. They think that it was them. They give no credit to the sister for coming forward, only judgment. Yeah, I mean. And then like OM, like look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all this true crime, OMG. She doesn't know if her fugitive brother killed Gabby in shocking interview. I mean, I can't even believe they're calling that an interview, but whatever. But everything has to be sensationalized because guess what? That's what sells, guys. It's sad to say, but that's what sells. Sex sells, sensationalism sells, scandals, shittiness. That all sells. The truth, the hard work, the grind, that doesn't sell. I wouldn't talk, but that's what I would do. I wouldn't talk. Would you talk, Frank? Would you reserve your right to remain silent?
Yes. Always. Especially if I didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah, I'd be like, what do you want? Yeah, that's not a protest. It's a modern day lynch mob. The one thing that made me angry was Cassie said the kids found out about Gabby from a screaming mob outside. That's sad. That's just. What's crazy is like I could literally go outside of my street and just go to some neighbor and just start screaming and they can't do anything about it. I'm just protesting. Why are you protesting? I don't know. That girl wore a pink shirt and I hate pink, so I'm protesting that she thinks she can just prance around in pink. So like, I mean, what do you think that the police department would say to me? First of all, they think I was crazy. And they'd be like, what are you doing? And then I'd be like, well, I'm just protesting her pink shirt. Pink should not be a color and she should not be wearing it. So I'm just going to sit here and yell. Crazy shit. On the sidewalk. Of course it took a lot for Cassie to come out. Oh, it's not a Rolex. It's close though. So they can twist the story to fit the narrative. Look what happened to the sister the first time she talked. That stuff is like checked out tabloid magazines. Yep, it is. Yeah, just crazy stuff. First Amendment right, Lano. Yep. Whose head?
Yours. I said my head's spinning all the shit that I got going on and I gotta do it, so I'm just imagining.
Oh, fuck, my head is always just fucking gone. I guess, I was talking to somebody last night and I said, where is Brian's friends? And they're like, Brian doesn't have any friends. Okay, well, I'm sure that was Gabby Brian's first love interest encounter sexually. Is there anybody out there that has had sex with Brian and want to come forward and, make yourself known? I mean, I'm just surprised that with all these supposed people that are on this case, I mean, it's not hard to go back that many years and get the yearbook. I mean, who did Brian graduate with? Has anybody come forward to talk about Brian or Gabby? I know I got somebody messaging me saying that they know who Brian's girlfriend before Gabby was. It's probably Natasha's research team messaging me. They were not together since high school. They just knew each other since high school because they went to the same high school, but they weren't together in high school. So that would be a myth if you've heard otherwise. I know I've talked about this briefly, but I kind of want to mention it again, that something that always struck me odd with this case is that if my daughter left with Brian and I cannot get in touch with my daughter, and I'm also trying to get in touch with Brian and I can't get in touch with him, then how aren't Brian and Gabby both considered missing people according to like Gabby's parents? I would think that I couldn't get in touch with either one of them. They're both missing, but yet only Gabby was filed missing by the parents. So I think it has to work both ways if you want to say that, you know, Gabby's dad was questioning how Brian's parents couldn't care about Gabby and Gabby not coming back home. Well, how could you not care about Brian enough to that you're filing a missing persons report? Because the missing persons report was filed in New York, so wasn't I mean, you can't get in touch with either one of them. You can't get in touch with Brian's family. Wouldn't they both be missing? And then literally the next day when the missing persons report goes out for Gabby, then there's a GoFundMe that sets up on September 12th by family friend Gary, who's friends with the mother. And I also did some investigating on the donors for the GoFundMe, and anytime that the officers and what's it called? Shit. It's a private fund that police officers and firefighters have, but anything that's over $500 has to be voted on if you're donating it. And September 13th, the Northport Fire Department officers and chiefs donated $1,100 for to the GoFundMe, which would have to be voted on. Anything over $500 has to be voted on by every member that makes up that group. So again, I thought that was just really early on, this GoFundMe. And then I was curious of how the Northport chiefs and how they even found out about that. And so going back to filing a missing persons, I would just think that if my daughter left with her fiance, that I would be filing a missing persons for him as well, because they're both missing. So you'd have to really take a look at the date that was really filed. And did the family know already that Brian was back with vehicle? Stephen, that's such a good point. I didn't think about it that way. Another thing I want to bring up, and people aren't going to like when I say this, but if you want to talk about all angles here, you got to talk about this. And why would Brian run September 10th-ish? Why wouldn't Brian run? Why would he ever come back? Why wouldn't he run the 4th, the 5th? Why the date of, which nobody really knows the date, right? But we know that it's not the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, right? Because he's supposedly camping that weekend. And prior to that, he's just being seen at his parents' house by the neighbors, right? So Brian comes straight home without her and is just chilling at the house. Then all of a sudden decides, after they go camping, that he's going to peace out. But the Mustang is parked off at, this area where he could technically go hiking, okay? So let me just ask you guys this. I want all your feelings to be set aside. Is it plausible? Does it not look at all ironic that the moment that Gabby's father would show up, that Brian's nowhere to be found. I mean, if you're looking at something from the angle of, I don't believe in coincidences because I don't, but if I was Gabby's father, wouldn't it make sense for him to stick around and wait so that he sees Brian, follows Brian, and then asks Brian a bunch of questions and says, pulls him over or follows him, and he gets out of his Mustang or whatever, and he's like, yo, where the fuck's my daughter? So you have to ask yourselves, is it possible that Brian and Gabby's dad had an encounter? And I think that it's definitely possible because of, I mean, think about everything.
So you read that, right?
The moment that the dad comes to their home, now think about this. If I'm trying to get in touch with somebody, and let's say I'm trying to talk to Frank here, blowing up his phone, I'm like, that's it, dude. I'm just coming over to your house. I'm on my way. And you listen to that. So you're listening to that voicemail that was left, and you're like, fuck, this motherfucker's on their way to my house now. So I'm gonna leave. I don't want to see this. I don't want to talk to her dad. I'm not dealing with any of this shit. I'm leaving. Okay. So then he leaves because he knows that he's on his way. Possibility, absolutely a possibility. Now, the other thing is that, let's say, I know how I would be as a mother with my son, depending on the interaction that happened between both sets of parents, okay? Because I've already gone over this. But it was in a live that didn't start off about Brian and Gabby, and it started talking about Brian and Gabby towards the end, so people may have like missed this about how I feel. And common sense to me is, do I think that Brian's parents would be skeptical of him coming back without Gabby? And the answer to that is absolutely no. Like, not at all. Because he already flew back once without her. He flew back once without her on August 16th, 17th. And then flew back. Now you have to ask the parents, why did he come back on the 16th? Okay, so if he came back on the 16th, why did he fly home? Right? Well, I'm going to tell you what I think. Why it makes sense logically. On August 12th, there was that incident. Stuff's heating up. Then stuff heated up again. You know, it is like, I'm not going to get in trouble. We almost got the cops called on us. Like, I'm done. Let's go. Get in the van, and we're going to leave, and we're going to go back. And Gabby's like, no, we're not. This is my van, and I'm not leaving. Okay, since you won't leave, then I'm just going to fly back because I'm not doing this. And flies home. Like, they broke up in the sense that they're breaking up. So if he's then at his home, they broke up, is it then 100% plausible that that would be the reason that you'd be moving something from your home that you live with your parents to a storage unit for Gabby with her things because you guys had this breakup? Yes, 100% that's plausible. And could be a reason that he was at this storage unit moving stuff. Now, what would be plausible as to why he would fly back? Well, she said it on the body cam. She didn't want to drive that van. She doesn't like to drive the van. Everything about the van. So what was Brian and Gabby's interaction between the 16th or 17th when he left to then him actually coming back? And now, did Brian have a one-way ticket when he purchased his plane ticket? Was it a one-way ticket or was it a there and back? That to me would be everything. Did you purchase a one-way or did you purchase, were you planning on coming back? Was it a one-way and then another one-way? Which obviously law enforcement has all of this. So then Gabby says, okay, please just help me drive this van back. And then, yeah, we can be done and all that stuff, but I just can't get this van back by myself. And, you know, yada, yada, yada. Does that seem plausible? And the answer is 100%. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go back and bring that van back with her. But could it also be plausible that, oh, I'll come back and I'll bring the van back, but I'm not driving back 40 hours with you. So, like, you can fly back then, but I'll come back and I'll drive it back, and then you can, you know, yada, yada. Is that all plausible then? And the answer is yes, it is all plausible. So if Brian tells his parents that he is flying back to bring this van back because she can't, and that she's flying back by herself, is that... So when his parents then see him just show up by himself, why would his parents bat an eye? It's like he already flew back once by himself, and now he's driving the van back like he said he would do. Okay? And now they're leaving it because, and people want to say, why was it in the garage? Well, because there's all that shit in there. If that van was to get broken into, there's all that shit in there. You can't, like, bring that stuff inside. So you park a van in the garage to prevent somebody from breaking in it and getting everything out of it. Are all these things possible? Yes. So would Brian's parents ask any questions about the fact that they broke up and it's a boy that you're talking to? So now let's fast forward to he's home all this time, doesn't try to leave, nothing, until the moment that Gabby's father comes knocking. Then that's what started this whole, well, he's not here, he went hiking. And I'm not saying that he did or didn't, but his Mustang was parked somewhere. Okay, so is it plausible that you'd have to ask the dad, was the Mustang in the driveway when you went to go attempt to find your daughter? And then what type of conversation would happen between two sets of parents? So hypothetically speaking, if I knock on the door and the parents open the door, I'm like, oh, hey, I've been trying to call you. Have you talked to Brian? Have you talked to Gabby? Yeah, Brian's here. Brian's home. Oh, so they are here. And he's like, no, Brian's here. Gabby's not here. Well, where's Gabby? Well, you don't know that they broke up? What? What do you mean they broke up? Well, they almost got arrested on the 12th for domestic violence. You don't know anything about this? Like, this is the type of interaction that you would think would happen between two adults that are, like, parents of two people that are engaged, right? Like, wait, what do you mean they almost got arrested? Like, do you not think that type of conversation would happen? Or would it be something like, why would immediately the dad in any type of way be hostile with Brian's parents? Like, oh, I'm glad I finally got you. Did you guys change your number or something? Because I've been trying to get a hold of you. I have not been able to get a hold of Gabby or Brian since, the beginning of September. It's September, 12th, let's say that he's there, 11th, 10th, whatever day he was there. What type of interaction do you think is normal to say? But without Gabby. And so when you're hearing this and you're like, well, yeah, because they broke up. Like he this wasn't the first time that he came back by himself. He flew back here too, and then he went back out there. Like, I think I'd want to know as much information as I could from the parents. But for me, I don't necessarily think that I would go to Brian's parents thinking that Brian's parents did something wrong. I'd be going to them like that they didn't do anything wrong and that they can't, hey, have you talked to the kids? And I hate using the term kids because they're 23 and 22. I mean, they're just young adults.
Right.
Yeah, nobody's been charged for obstruction of justice because the FBI is going to definitely work a lot slower. That's just how they are. So everything federally works slower. I'm gonna stroll back up, see if I can see what people have said. I would never victim blame. Just know that the girl did not deserve to die. It goes to her family. No one ever deserves to die, guys. I don't think anybody ever on alive has ever said that. So that is just so old and beaten up that to say that. What's up, Tim in the back? Brenda, I haven't thought of that. Very true. He is starting to get a little fan club on Reddit as lately, kind of like Chris. What? Oh.
As the grandbaby.
Why the hell are you the only one with common sense on this? I don't know, man. I guess myself it every day. Oh, thanks for my
Really?
Cash App, Lana Oriani. Yeah, I mean, is that what it's called, Cash App? Lindsay says that's actually not a bad hypothesis. It's educated.
That was gross.
Um,
Whole fucking drink just now. I know.
It's definitely morally wrong to protect Brian if he did it and not cooperate. To be honest, if it was me, though, I'd protect my kid at all costs. I've thought about that. I've thought about the word when people say the word protect.
That was the last
Okay?
time.
You're always going to go into protect mode if you don't know something. Okay? So think about when you defend your kid, if their teacher was to say something that they did. The first thing that you're going to do always when it comes to your kid is defend and protect when you don't know something. So is it a normal human reaction to protect as a parent? 100%. Now, is it logical to think and assume that Brian's parents don't know anything? And the answer to that is abso-fucking-lutely yes. If Brian's parents, and why wouldn't they be under the assumption that they broke up and he already flew home once, okay, and then he's just flying back to like help her bring this van back or bring it back possibly by himself, okay? By him returning alone, would that be grounds for the parents to question that? And the answer is no. Under those circumstances, absolutely not. I'd be more scared of why are you bringing her back here with you if you guys are fighting and hitting each other? I mean, you guys need to be separated. Like, you guys need to be apart. You guys almost got arrested. You flew back. So now,
it's not like she's ever going to remember whether I came over there
Right.
or how often.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, whatever.
now the reason that let's put this out there. Brian doesn't come back home. Brian doesn't come back home. Brian doesn't come back home, right? There'd be phone records if the parents try to call Brian, let's say after the dad, Gabby's dad comes there. Again, now this is logically thinking. When emotions is involved, if I was Gabby's dad, I would be like, well, first of all, I'd be losing my shit that, that my daughter was somewhere like alone, I guess, with this fan. But then I would ask questions like, wait, what do you mean he flew home? Oh yeah, he was home for like a week. I mean, my head then would be like, wait, what? Home for a week? Well then, but then flew back out there? And then when you get those dates and you know that you were talking to your daughter during those dates that he was actually in Florida, what was your daughter saying to you? Was your daughter acting like Brian was there? Did your daughter tell you that Brian left? And the answer to all of this is that they had no idea that Brian had left. They had no idea that August 12th ever happened. He didn't.
Right.
So, I mean, whoopsies.
Right.
Hello, Kennedy.
Right.
Instead of taking it on
Your dad.
Right. Instead of taking it on the only fucking person that was
Um,
like, I mean, he's acting like I didn't hug him enough as a child or some shit. I'm just like,
I'm trying to scroll back up. Sorry.
everything that
I personally think going and trying to publicly stone these people without having all the facts is BS. It is BS. The protesting, I mean, I don't know how that's not considered harassment. Oh, believe me, I know how slow the FBI works. Lindsay, that's funny.
Yeah, that
State,
conversation with her?
they cuff you and ask questions later. Federal, they build their case, then place charges. Yeah. Callie, I'm sure the parents were not involved. Not fair to assume the worst and then threaten to burn their house down. That's crazy. Michelle, I guess because he came home and she didn't, and I do believe they have the right to not speak, but once he was home and she wasn't, he refused to speak. Michelle, I want to speak on that. So think about it like this, though. You said that he came home and she didn't. He came home twice. He flew home without her. So when he flew home without her, he came home without her. He flew home. Then he flew back, and then so he then comes a second time without her when he drove the van, allegedly. So
Yeah.
the psyche of all of that. He left her and she was fine the first time. So why would his parents think that, okay, he left her again and came home? Like, why wouldn't they be fine? I just don't think why anybody would think immediately that there was
telling him about
a murder
job
that
at Franklin
happened.
International. I'm not going to let him ruin my name.
Brian could have lied to his parents. Absolutely could Brian have lied to his parents, but what would you tell your parents as to why you were coming home and flying home on August 16th or 17th? You're flying home, why?
Fucking TV that he said.
And those of you guys that just joined in, I said a big tell will be, did Brian purchase a one-way ticket home? Did Brian purchase, a round trip?
Roku.
Was he planning on going back? I'd protect my son, but we both would go to the police to make things right.
I mean, I don't need it. You know?
People seem to think it's impossible. His parents don't know. I am so close with my parents, but for whatever reason, my personal life, I've always been relatively private with my relationships. Yeah, I think people need to look more so like that September 1st through September 10th, everything seemed fine in terms of like, now they want to say though, well, the dad was calling. Well, it's interesting that Brian purchased a new phone on September 4th. I would love to know the reasons behind the new purchase, but if the phone was messed up, and the person who was actually calling him, did he switch his number? I don't know.
Yeah. Kids today. Yeah.
I just think it's interesting when you think about the dynamics of he flies home because I believe that they did call it quits. So he flew home. The only reason he went back there was to bring the van back. Whether it was a plan for her to be driving the 40 hours plus that they would be in the van together, I question why that would even be the case, because you're putting yourself in that situation of something happening, you know? So could it be plausible and possible that the plan was that he was helping her drive it back and she was going to fly back? But it's definitely not off the table of possibilities when he already flew once to go home and had to fly back. I mean, what was the plan? Let's see. Hypothetically speaking, if he killed her, it could have been premeditated. However, when they were pulled over for DV, he asked for the
You know,
tape
you know,
as if he wanted it to shove it in her face for a later date.
whatever. I just knew that all I gotta do is get
It could be, it could have been premeditated.
from anybody, but everybody was just like, here, take this, take that. You know, and I took. a lot
Usually
of
if-
it, you know,
If something's
and it helped me out
premeditated and you're trying to get
tremendously by
away
giving
with it,
back tenfold to people, and I will continue. You know, that's just in my heart. That's
why
who
did
we
Brian
are.
go on the run on the 10th?
You know, we got big hearts. You know, yeah.
There's also just nothing to
Right.
say that
And that's the thing.
he's a fugitive. That's just the term I think that they're using, but
I know Hillary. You know, she.
I think it's definitely possible
mentioned
that
in
somebody
it
could have gotten to him before
about needing a place to stay.
he got back home from hiking. I mean, that's definitely a
I'm gonna have
possibility,
you
especially
come
if
to my house. There
I know
ain't
my
no
dad
way.
wouldn't
It's
leave
just not gonna happen.
that house without
You
talking
know?
to Brian, so
And,
my dad would
I mean,
sit and
I
wait
love my family, but
for Brian to show
I
up
know
and then
better
have
than
words.
to go into
And then if Brian
open the
didn't
door
come
for something like that,
back,
only to get hurt.
you know, if my
or
dad had
stuff going on,
friends,
you know,
hey,
it's sad that you can't even
you
touch
sit here and
them.
I'm gonna go look for him wherever, like, you know, I'm gonna go see if I can find his,
I mean-
drive around or whatever. I mean, I don't,
I just wish people would take the same work ethic that like
But-
me and Dad have. You know, Adam has it too.
it's just very interesting
He's just
timing.
busy with all this fucking
You know.
man. I don't know how he does it.
If he did harm himself, I personally think that
5 kids is a lot.
he would have been found.
All grown up
That's
at the
my
same
personal
time.
opinion, though.
And I laugh at him sometimes when he's
Also, if he was gonna
cussing
harm
and
himself,
all that
why
other
didn't he
stuff
do it on
with
the first,
kids.
second, or third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth? I mean,
just talk straight shit to your kids. You know, you think they're not gonna pick that stuff up, but when they go and say
now
something
also, is it
about
possible?
what's
Think about
wrong,
this:
Man, he has no problem.
if you break up with your person and she was supposed to come back though to pick up this van
Yeah.
or fly back, whatever,
But, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is.
and the days are going by and like she hasn't showed up
But
to
I
get
know,
this,
like Marquise, I mean,
to get
I
this
know he's
van,
smarter than
I would be. I mean,
trained to be.
I'd be asking questions if I was the parents at that point to say, well, when's Gabby coming to pick up this
An
van?
identity crisis within himself.
You said she's flying here. When is she flying here? Again, I'll give you guys both sides.
Both.
So at that point, as a parent, I would be, asking about this van and when Gabby's coming to pick it up.
And that's the problem. Where he got that from has to be the other side. You know, because of the car ride. You know?
Yes, Lindsay, that was 100%. Can we also point out the fact that they are also being advised by counsel on what's...
Yeah.
And they're just being told to not say anything, and that's very important. If the Watts case would show anybody anything, I think if you asked Mr. and Mrs. Watts what they would do all over again if they would talk, I think we all know that answer. And the answer is no, that they wouldn't say a word. They wouldn't have given any interviews. They wouldn't have talked to anybody. On a funny note, but still sad, Brian will be a little hard to find and spot due to the fact that he looks like a lot like an average white male. 2 buddies of mine look like him. Yeah.
I'm looking into refinancing my home through
I think it's crazy that nothing's been able to be leaked with like CCTV, whether it's been
We're
a
gonna look at a 15
you know,
year and a 20 year what the
any
cost
type of
would be.
cam.
'Cause I'm tired of them fucking raping.
I do believe that they have that stuff, but I'm shocked that it hasn't been leaked. There's a difference.
$204 out of
100% you get a lawyer,
1,130
and so
goes towards principal. $204.
people question as to why his family would lawyer up without.
You're killing me.
His family didn't know what was going on, and when the dad shows up, and how I was being very calm, collective, talking, That's not
Mine's
what Gabby's
majority
dad
S
did.
And then-
So when things would be escalating as to what the fuck, what, and, you know, using colorful language like
I'm
that,
also paying 4.375
like I could see my Italian father doing.
on my mortgage.
It's just gonna be like, whoa, okay, we're calling the
That's hot.
police. Like, you can't be acting like this. Like, what's going on? Like,
What
so
is actually
it-
going on out
why
there?
can't Brian's parents be in shock about that? Like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean, Gabby? I mean,
Because U.S. Bank said that.
for all we know, the plan could have been that Gabby was flying home to New York to be with her family for a little bit.
How can you go and
We don't know what Brian told his parents. We don't know if Brian said, yeah, I went back there because I drove the van back because she was flying back to New York and she was going to be staying with her
That
parents.
should be me.
Like, how does that not make any sense? That makes the most logical sense to me, that a parent would believe that too. So that I think that
And
when,
that's what happened. But
if
I don't see how
Gabby's
they can really-
dad's calling the parents and they don't want anything to do with it, that's why they could have been ignoring,
Yeah.
you know, if there was no messages being left because, well, I'm not going to get into this with, like,
Well,
you know,
the dude was like,
depending on what type of messages are being left, is this all plausible? And the answer is yes. It's,
your property taxes.
and why would Brian's parents not believe this? Like, they knew that they had issues. They knew about August 12th. They knew about, you know, obviously he flew home. He was there at their residence during August, and they
All
knew.
the homes in the area.
So
I
for
just
anybody
don't
to
see
say
how
that
they
Brian's
do that.
parents are acting
I don't know. I'm not good with real estate at all.
wrong or just weird,
So I don't know. I can't
that's-
do it. But anyways, I'm trying to look into it tomorrow.
that's, I think, bullshit. His parents are acting accordingly after getting news and not knowing that that was the situation. From the visit that happened with the father, and then Brian not coming back. And now, okay, Gabby's missing, now my son's missing. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Let's see. Could Brian struggle from mental health issues and is not sound mind? Sure. I mean, have you all seen what his sister said? I saw something about it today. Yes, his sister came out into the lawn,
I got so much shit to do at the house.
but I
Oh,
stated at the
God.
beginning of the show that she's damned if she does talk and she's damned if she doesn't talk.
I did
So,
2 bags of weed so far. But
Stephen,
one
without a doubt, you should always lawyer up.
Around my
100%. Especially if you don't know what's going
edge
on.
out,
And it's everything around it sounding like you're talking about.
take all the grass out. That way I don't have to worry about it. Weed whacking. I get tired of that shit.
When you're confused and you have no idea what's going on, and people are talking about criminal activity, and the police get called,
I'm
it,
just
you know.
gonna- yeah, I'm just gonna cut it out. With a shovel. Well, it'll take time. but it'll
His sister
eliminate
sounded
it.
frustrated and probably has more questions than anything else.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so let's go back to the whole sister thing. Again, she's damned if she does talk, she's damned if she doesn't talk. If she doesn't talk, she's helping a murderer or she's a murderer herself. And then if she does talk, then that you are subjected to how the media wants to twist your words versus just letting the media, aka somebody recording it, they're going to twist what you say. And it's a matter of what channel is the loudest. So who, you know, if they're going to cast you as, let's feel bad for her, or she's hiding something, you know, what a bitch. Those are going to be your scales. There's no going to be in between. And you're going to have channels that feel one way and channels that feel the other way. And the sad thing is that you're not going to win in either situation. So that's why I say you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But so many people are, when they say, I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't do anything wrong. So you just, I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to hide. Like, that's what people think. And so therefore, I'm just going to say, you know, I have nothing to hide. Gabby's parents knew about. Gabby's parents did not know. Gabby's dad didn't know. Let's put it that way. Did Gabby's mom know? Question mark. Gabby's dad said that he did not know about August 12th. In Europe, we don't have Fifth Amendment, so you better talk. Amanda Knox, haven't heard that name in a minute. Very interesting case, though. Leave his parents and sister the fuck alone. Law enforcement is working the case. Yeah, law enforcement's working the case, and I cannot say this enough. When you don't know something, you can't say something. So, what do you think Brian's sister knows? Like, how close do you think they were? That they were just out camping, and he's like, "Hey, you're never gonna believe what I did last week." Like, that's just. And then think about this: if you break up with somebody, what's the last thing that you want to talk about? That person and your breakup. So, could his sister said something? Hey, I'm going to hear about you and Gabby, like, and Brian's like, yeah, I just don't want to talk about it. Would that be normal? I think so. Who wants to talk about a breakup? So yeah, they didn't talk about it. And then what'd they do? They probably played cards. What else do you do when you're camping? I see a lawsuit coming from the police incident that happened out there. Be interesting. I just, woo. I'm assuming we're talking about BL's sister. Haven't watched it. Shannon, can you put the song Sister Christian on, please? Yeah, my parents don't know a single detail about any of my breakups. I agree. Now, everyone's going to come back and say this. But Gabby lived with you. Gabby lived with you. Gabby lived with you. Okay, yes, Gabby lived with me. It depends on what type of parents, Brian. Are they the meddling type? Would Brian's mom, meddle and just text Gabby and be like, hey, just so you know, we still love you. It doesn't matter what happened between you and Brian. Like, what type of relationship are they? Have they, like, people have different ways that, the last person that I dated, would this person's parent write me that? Yes. The person before that? Abso-fucking-lutely not. No. I feel Brian is going to turn himself in very soon, just a gut feeling.
Okay, yeah, because I've got to place my order today, so I just want to know before I...
People have asked, I think it's weird that there hasn't been an arrest warrant issued. No, I don't, because I don't think that they would release that right now, knowing how crazy the people are right now. If they were to issue that, I think that would enrage people that are protesting at the moment. I think that people could possibly it would be putting Brian's family in harm's way to be issuing that. They don't have to issue that. They already have a warrant out for his arrest. They don't need to, if that's making sense. But I just think that in the eyes of them could possibly potentially endangering, putting in Brian's parents and his sister in danger. Because if these people were to escalate their protests. So there's really no reason to do that. When they find him and they arrest him, then they're just going to slap those charges. So there's no reason to do that. And I think that it would be very, I would question why the FBI would ever do that. There's no reason to. My son and wife lived with us for 4 years after he got out of the military. We didn't know their business. They didn't know ours. Yeah. Sooner or later, his curiosity will get the better of him, I think, my opinion, and that's when he'll get caught. That's if he's alive.
Every time. What I tell you. I know. That every time you come in.
If he's out in the wild, he might not know what all is going on. I agreed with that. I also said that depending on when he went off, that he wouldn't know, let's hypothetically say that when Brian left, that Gabby was alive. He drives back home. She doesn't show up when she's supposed to get this van, or she's supposed to fly to New York, but how would Brian know anything happened to Gabby? Nobody else did. It wasn't national news or anything like that until well after the fact that he was quote-unquote gone or missing. So the only way that Brian would know anything is if Brian was, in fact, the perpetrator of the crime. What's up, Angela? How's your hurricane? Shake me like a hurricane. I also think people change the sisters' words around. I also think the media changed her words around, the sisters' words around a little bit, and are just putting their spin on it. Sunshine, joy, what's good in the hood? Again, make sure you guys give a thumbs up to the video. Appreciate it. Hope you guys had a good lunch hour. Well, I'm out. Good discussion, though. Lindsay, you take care, babe. I'm gonna be right behind you. But yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's. I don't think it's wise to attack people's families. I mean, this is no different than the Watts case in terms of that, but then it sucks because the rest of their lives is all we are gonna, like, that's all this family is, like, the rest of their lives is like this, and the rest of Gabby's parents' lives is like this, and I love how Anna always uses song lyrics when speaking. Do I? You're gonna have to point that out to me. Lana, do you think he is some kind of abuser from that cam? I probably am not the person to ask for that. I've never been in an abusive relationship. I've never been struck by anybody in my life. I guess it's the Pisces intuition inside of me that I try to stay clear from people like that. But what's up, Mama 3? But from that cam, something that stuck out to me and will continue to stick out to me is the fact that he said, well, can you take me instead? Basically to jail. And now he is either very, very good, or that was genuine. I don't think you can look at it other way. When I say he's very, very good, hiding the fact that from that video, I got the sense that they were young, but they were having like, but they just seemed really like, what was it, like young, like not that many experiences in life. Not like rough around the edges or anything like that. They were just very innocent, like just naive, and I didn't get calculation when I saw that cam. I didn't think that either one of them was being calculated. But he followed what the cop was saying, laughed when they did, etc. See, Anby, so it says, take me, would he said that because she would have been singing like a canary? No, actually, like, I just would think that, at the beginning when it says, do you know why I pulled you, like, why'd you pull me over type thing? Like, did they really get pulled over because he hit the curb or because of the 911 call? Because I'm still kind of confused on why they were pulled over. I think there was a very awkward conversation in the car after when Brian was putting that police trooper. And awkward in the sense that you don't even know what to talk about with the cop. You're just trying to, like, everybody tenses up around police, like, oh my God, like, I'm not doing anything wrong, but still I'm like, dude, they could just, so, I think they were talking about like a mess in the back of the van. I'm still so concerned of why they didn't ask to check the van. Not saying that Brian and Gabby would have said yes, but I do think that they would have said yes. But the cops didn't even ask to check the van. For all they know, there could have been more people in the back. I think the cop was really like happy for the fact that he didn't have to arrest anybody that day. I feel that. I feel that the cop was like, didn't want to ruin anybody's life. That's the vibe I got from the cop, like that he just didn't feel like it was serious, like that they having like a little like a little kid fight. Like that's what I just mean by like a little kid fight. There was none of the sense of like, look at these two very thin, dangly, harmless white people. That's what I think was going through the mind of that police officer.
He was my mentor. Or my mentee.
No threat. There was no threat. I mean, they pat down Brian and look to see if there was no. But do you think that if Brian was black, do you think they would have patted him down and put him up against the car? I think so. Here, can you just lift up your shirt? And then they say to Gabby, oh, it doesn't look like you have anything on you. Like, we could tell you don't have anything. Like, what? Let me go through TSA because there's just. But do I get the vibe that he was an abuser? I get the vibe from that video that they were young, naive, and they knew how to push each other's buttons like little kids would fight. Like me and my sister, when we were like 16, 14, 12, like doing things but behind our parents, like just to be like, even like 10, 8, like you know how to push your siblings' buttons to get them flustered and, you know. So here, did he purposely mess up the back of the van because she's OCD and he just wrecked it so that she'd have to like put it back together, or, you know, was she like hitting him like this, just like, you know, Brian, he's like pushing. I just don't get the vibe of what this was like a, I'm trying to beat your fucking ass type fight at all. I don't see rage in the description of the 911. Like, I see someone admitting to mental health crisis. I do. My kids are like that now, and it always escalates. Yeah, that's typically the first thing out of their mouth, even before. So you know why I pulled you over. Anxiety often presents as violence in females, violence and/or rage. When you're young and inexperienced, often, and you're more passionate and base everything off of emotion. I think the cops had no idea the world would be reviewing their body cam.
How are you doing this morning, sunshine?
Yeah,
Love that?
he was trying to give them a break. Yeah, he didn't want to ruin anybody's life. People seem to be upset with the cops and gunning for them to lose their jobs. I mean, no, I wouldn't say anybody should be losing their jobs, but I definitely think that we have protocols for a reason. To me, they did nothing wrong, and if I was in their shoes, I would have done the same thing probably.
All right, I have to order for pickup. Oh, thank you.
I know who you are.
Oh, thank you. Do come here.
I do know that unless Gabby called her mom, that Gabby lied about saying that she wanted to call her parents and that that's why she needed her phone. So who did she actually call when she got her cell phone? What was actually going on? I could also see Gabby not wanting to tell her parents because her dad would go crazy about it. And she wasn't going to listen to that, or that she didn't want, like, her dad's going to fly out there and then the party's going to be over type thing. And I definitely don't think the cops thought that anybody was dying within, 3 weeks of that. Yeah, license and registration. It was the most awkward pullover, but then immediately, like, she's crying, and I think that the officer went into. I think it messed with the officer. I think the best way that this case should be handled is that you can go get justice for Gabby without crucifying his family. At this point, you can want to get justice for somebody without crucifying a family. And so I think that people need to stop crucifying people's families.
That's why I said don't tell Dad.
Don't tell
I
Dad.
don't tell Dad anything.
Don't tell Dad watermelon.
Yeah. Bananas. That's what I tell him, bananas.
That's how I feel about the Sheldon Jeter Jr. case. Like, you can get justice for Rachel without crucifying people and letting people that read your content believe a certain narrative. OCD is bad enough. I have it. Living in a van and feeling out of control of things no can do. I think logic and reasoning and everything to do with those words is completely out the window with a lot of people that are reporting on this case. I think that the whole world feels bad for Gabby, and I think that anybody that doesn't, that you're just not human. I think this, and that social media is nothing what it seems. So when people want to deep dive people's social media, it's interesting because usually their life is complete opposite of that. I think they know a lot more. The authority, that is. Explosion outside the U.S. Capitol. What? Thanks. Completely agree about social media. Yeah. Well, let's look it up. Capitol Police arrest man from suspicious SUV outside Supreme Court. "29 minutes ago. Wow. It was a yeah, that's the analogy I use. Nobody on social media is saying I'm pregnant except with 6 people who's the baby daddy. And Tommy got a D on his report card. I loved that Facebook went down. I wish it would crumble. That whistleblower was awesome. I know, did you guys watch that 60 Minutes? Just for the record, I believe the explosion, it was a police perform a controlled explosion before almost a dozen heavily armed officers sworn Dale Paul Melvin, 55 of Michigan. I don't know. Was it a controlled explosion? It was a controlled explosion. Tell us, I don't want to leave you alive. Yeah, a man was taken into custody after the U.S. Capitol Police extracted him from a suspicious SUV illegally parked outside the Supreme Court building in what witnesses described as a quote-unquote controlled explosion. Oh, so nothing huge. Well, I that's the report from the Independent. Now, if you go to let's see what the, did you get, can you play Sister Christian? Can I get a song request? You appreciate me, I appreciate you. Oh, yeah. Yes, a controlled explosion. See, guys, everyone keep calm. Lana's in charge. Now, let's go to... I really want to look at one thing about Brian's sister's interview.
I went from being a 29-year-old newlywed to a 29-year-old cancer patient. I was
Tonight, the interview that is raising questions and raising eyebrows in the case of a missing young woman from Long Island. Gabby Petito, on a cross-country trip with her boyfriend, disappeared last month. The fiancé and his parents are clamming up.
In an exclusive interview with ABC, Cassie Laundrie says she hasn't spoken to her brother since he returned to their parents' home in Florida.
I haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him.
Laundrie says she's told police everything she knows about her brother, Brian Laundrie, and his fiancée, Gabby Petito, and their cross-country road trip.
I've cooperated in every way that I can. I wish I had information that I would give more. This is all I have. I need this.
Petito's father says he isn't sure Cassie Laundrie is being fully transparent, given the fact that her parents and her brother haven't said one word to police.
I'm hoping that the pleas and the begging and the community and the entire damn plan knocks some sense into her where she's like, I got to speak.
Police in Northport, Florida, where the Suffolk County natives had been living with Laundrie's parents, are continuing to put pressure on the Laundrie family today by doing more media appearances. The family does this couple's camper van. Laundrie and the van were in Florida for more than a week before anyone even knew Petito was missing.
We've been able to definitely get some.
We found safe. She's like a sister, and my children love her. And all I want is for her to come home safe and sound. Be just a big misunderstanding.
Okay, so that was the interview that she did September 17th. And so what they're trying to say is that she lied, and that she said that she hasn't seen him since he returned back from what they're trying to say is that she's saying that she didn't see him since he's returned back from since he's come back to Florida. But if you actually listen, that's not what she says at all. Like, that's what they say. That's what the overvoice of the media is saying. Because they don't show just her exclusive, so I'm going to try to find that. But I was trying to compare her talking 2 weeks ago to her talking yesterday. And just really look at how the media can swing and make it seem like anything. But
Doing well. How are you? Good. Looking for Shannon.
Shannon, work it, girl. I believe Brian was 1 year older than Gabby, 23 and 22. This whole world has gone batshit, Mama 3. She clarified in a new interview saying the actual question was, what's the craziest thing with Brian since Gabby reported missing? Exactly. But do you see how, like, the media can just... hasn't seen him since he's gotten back. And then she talks and now it's like, oh, she lied. No, she didn't lie. And see, I think that you should have to publicly, if you publicly say something in your media outlet, I think that you should have to publicly correct yourself.
What do you need, or okay? Okay, perfect.
What they
Thanks,
want.
Shannon.
Thank you, Carter.
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
I think people should go protest on ABC's lawn and get that woman out here from ABC Chicago and ask her to correct herself and put it on the national spotlight.
I'm gonna fall. I swear. I got non-slip shoes.
What the
on.
fuck?
Not yours, mind your business.
I know I'm gonna mind my business. The media is never held accountable. Hello. I think Natasha Cooper is a prime example of that. She can fucking sit here and tell you that Dog the Bounty Hunter found Brian and sold him to into sex slavery. She can report that. So, breaking news: Dog the Bounty Hunter finds Brian and puts him into sex slavery. Breaking news: Linda Briss. Oh my God, is that what happened? Oh my God, breaking news. Oh my God, Lynn's over there like, oh my God, is that really what happened? Lynn just chiming in with her triggered self.
That's my sister. Oh, is that right?
Lynn, you know what? You know what triggered me? You know what triggers me? When you doxed my dad. That triggered me.
He was on vacation with me, well, not vacation really.
And then you lied on him.
Down with me twice.
Even after doxing him, you couldn't get it right. You lied on him. I mean, for fuck's sake, people.
Probably not a good
You can't even dox right. Unbelievable. I hate the media. They're the least held accountable entity in our culture today. Correct. It's a magnified tenfold due to how easy it is for us to communicate digitally. Well, I think that's why they're enhancing everything because, think about this. Back in the day before there was social media, I mean, whatever you read in the paper was fucking the Bible. It was everything. In what you saw on the news at 7 o'clock or at 11 or midnight or whatever. But now, those outlets that were just so dominant, they now have to compete with the little man, I guess you could say. But if you actually want facts, you're not going to get it from a news reporter that has a microphone in their ear being told what to say. You're just not going to get the facts that way. Them's not the facts. What's up, Boston? Me and Boston were having a conversation last night. And that's when I told Boston, I said, hey, I think people need to start looking at this from a different perspective, a different angle, which is that, Brian Laundrie was home since September 1st. No issues, nothing. And then it wasn't until Gabby's dad showed up that Brian basically is missing. And, because people ask me all the time, well, then why did he run? If he's innocent, why did he run? Who says he ran? That's what the media is telling you, that he ran. Why isn't he a missing person? Because the person he was with ends up dead, right? On his trip. Well, maybe Brian was a witness to her murder, and then that person came and got him and killed him. I mean, I'm just saying, like, do I really think that happened? No. But is it plausible? I mean, sure, it's plausible. But it's just batshit that people are just like, I mean, how about this? What if you tell Brian or Gabby's parents, hey, when Brian gets home, we're going to clear all this up. We're going to clear all this up. We're going to clear all this up. But Brian never comes home to clear it up. And then Brian doesn't come the next day. It's like, well, what the fuck? Now my kid's missing, your kid's missing, and now my kid's missing. Like, what the fuck? And then you go to report a missing person. They'd say, oh, when's the last time you saw him? Oh, has it been 48 hours? Because it's not been 40 hours. You can't miss him. You can't do anything. And so it's like, so when people say, why did Brian's parents wait so long to report him missing? Because it's the fucking law. Has he been missing for 48 hours? Okay, come back. That's the law. That's what they do. Why did law enforcement keep an eye on him so he couldn't, quote unquote, run? Law enforcement never even had an eye on him, so I question that. If law enforcement ever had an eye on him, when does it ever come forward to say that, yeah, we saw Brian go into that house and we've been out here waiting, you know, ever since, like, law enforcement's never had an eye on him. There was no ever eye to start. I just know how my dad would be if I was missing. He'd be waiting to talk to my ex. Are you tired? Me too. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pee. You guys just hang tight. I'm not taking you with me this time. You gonna go?
Yep. I'm tired.
All right. Well, what time are you working at? May 10?
Yep. 2:45, I believe.
All right. I'll text you later.
All right, sweet. Have a good one.
Oh, my back kills.
Huh?
I wonder if Shannon has any of those Aleve or Advils or anything. You know what? I might have some. I got some ibuprofen. I've been carrying this true crime community with the truth. My back's sore from carrying everybody. The true crime community, welcome. All right, I'll call you. All right. Some ibuprofens, you know, in case people don't know what it is. Is it frozen buffering? They're all gone. My guns are gone. I'm trying to get them back, though. With all the threats I've been getting lately, I gotta get my guns back. All right, you guys have been great. Any last questions or discussion topics? Any, they claim you doxed her aliases? What? Someone explain how you could even dox an alias. All you did was say a first name. That's fucking hilarious. Oh, try wall hangs for your back. I will. I forgot about the wall hangs. My sister wants me to do yoga. What's up, Allie79? Do you stream often? I do. So tonight is the follow-up to the podcast, episode 2. So Sundays and Tuesdays are for the podcast, and then everything else is hit or miss there. Can one be a spit baby and spaghetti simultaneously? Absolutely. I definitely think that if you're gonna dabble in both, that you should get a wrist brace. I think that'll help. Oh, my podcast is on here. It's Sunset Secrets. The episodes will stay here for like a week or two, and then they go over to the website. So yeah, Sunset Secrets, and it's in here. You know, guys, I'm gonna leave us with a little sugar. You want some sugar? Just such a happy camper over here. Back to cleaning house. You great people, have a good one. Yep, tonight at 9, I think. iPhone numbers, link loves. Oh, thanks, Bumblebee. Appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, tonight's breakdown of season 2, episode 2 is going to be a good one. basically it's all about this timeline, and you can't have your cake and eat it too. So I would definitely tune in, because it basically puts the timeline that the police have been speaking of in El Copa for 20 years gets demolished tonight on the whiteboard. So I get to go home and prep for my 9 o'clock live about the breakdown of episode 2 of the podcast. You like that song playing? I'm trying to get her to play Sister Christian, but Shannon's ignoring me. Sister Christian, oh, the time has come, and you know that you're the only... She's gonna play it right now. The podcast is live. So when I do the episodes, they're pre-recorded on Sunday nights at 9, but it's a live chat for the episode. And then the follow-up is a live on Tuesdays, where you get to ask questions about stuff that you didn't maybe catch in the episode, or that you have, and I break stuff down. Here she comes with it. Can you turn it out? Is this it? Can you turn it up? See you guys. Here it comes. It's a great song. Oh, it feels good. You guys want to sing along? I'll let you guys sing along. Ready? Motoring. What's your price for flight? And finding Mr. Scissor sister, of the time has come. That's gonna be the next song from Parker. Can't wait for it. Be looking forward to it. Cheers. Oh snap, you're motoring. You're buffering. Oh god, I could totally make this into a Parker Beebe special. All right, cool. Got a big new fan today. I really enjoyed your logic and rational and content. Not too weird, but you're very easy on the eyes as well. Can't wait to see the new content going forward. Oh, well, thanks, Steven. I would like to say you're easy on the eyes too, but I'm going to go with you're easy on my ears because I can hear you. Hopefully you're a guy, Steven, because I'm really trying to get my male membership up. But if not, it's okay. All right, take care, chat love. See you guys tonight. Remember, 9 o'clock. This is a very good breakdown for those of you guys that are following along with the Jamie Brown case. And let's really help right a wrong. He should be home. And let's bring Jamie Brown home. So...